There she is. Very good. Welcome back to the show, and we welcome to the program. And as you can see, it's impossible to look that good this early in the morning, Lesley Visser. Where are you? Are you on some? Are you in Australia covering the Open? I mean, look how wonderful you look. Thanks for joining us here on the show, Lesley Visser.
Is this the Brady Quinn show?
It will be.
Where am I? It will be.
How are you? You
I'm
look
good.
wonderful.
I saw Buddy. Thank you. Hi, Luby. I saw a friend of yours last night, Blake James, who's
Oh
now
yeah.
Boston College athletic director, and they're playing Miami tonight. The women are, but he has great things to say about Jim Larinaga. Boston College is a lift, as you know. We're not really doing that,
No.
that well. We just keep claiming we're an academic school in a pro town. So
What happened there? Yeah, I mean, they were always representative. I remember Boston College. It was not necessarily winning NCAA championships, but when we used to travel there for games with the University of Miami, it was like, yeah, I mean, these guys are dangerous.
Well, Blake said the hardest thing, and you guys know this, is the NIL money,
Yeah.
getting collective money. And remember, he came down here and cleaned up the Shapiro mess, but now you want that money.
Yes.
Honestly.
Nevin's welcome on campus now. Well, what do you think about all of that? Because it seems like now, if you're in college football or basketball, you need to have not just an athletic director, but actually like Brian Cashman, some general manager, helping you run the show. The way things are going now.
Yeah, the collectives, they're enormous, and the schools, it's Texas A&M, it's Alabama, it's Clemson. It's just not. I don't. Florida State, Louis, they probably have huge, but they can't really. I mean, you saw with the kid from Florida, they can't really control the collectives. So now the guys backed out at UCLA, and I don't know. It's a real. They took the guardrails down, and now it's like bumper cars.
It's great. I mean, it's like oil money versus hillbilly money. That's kind of what we're looking at in college football, especially, right? Are the Texas teams going to do it with these oil guys, Oklahoma, whatever? But then you have on this side of the country, hillbilly money. I think is hard to top, right? Look at Alabama.
Yeah, anything that's in a pro town is hard for colleges. Seriously, that's
Yeah.
excuse. So, wait. The first thing I have to ask you is, did you guys see the video of the guy who walked on the court with the hamburgers? Did you
No.
hear about this? Oh, Luby, you have to find this.
Okay.
Last night during the Loyola basketball game, like a chubby guy walked out with an Uber Eats delivery. He walked in the court. And yes, you got to find this. And they weren't sure if it were for the referee or one of the players. A guy walks on the court in the middle. Somebody's got an out of bounds pass, and the referee is waving him. Yes, you have to find this, Luby. It's hysterical. You'll have a great time with it.
What the heck?
And it wasn't a setup. I mean, how'd this guy just wander out there?
He was looking around for whoever ordered. It was a bag of McDonald's burgers from Uber Eats.
It was like a Pacers Pistons game. Yeah, I mean, what is that? But that fat kid wandered out there and got socked by I forget who it
Malice
was.
in the Palace.
Yeah. All right. I mean, you've been on a lot of sideline situations for big conference championship games, and I want to say I don't know if it was one of the last ones you did. What was it, that Green Bay game against the Giants, where it was absolutely, I mean, sub frigid. Even Lombardi, I mean, wouldn't have been out there that day. And you had the hat, and it was like snow attached to it. It was one of those things. And wasn't that where Brett Favre threw the late pick, and the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl that year? Now, what are your recollections of that day? Because I remember it had to be very difficult to speak once you got the action thrown at you.
Yeah, your mouth freezes. No, I did the Brett game that was indoors against the Vikings. Remember where it was his last, or he was with the Vikings. It was his last gasp, and he threw an interception to kind of end his career. Which is why don't you think it's interesting? Where will Brady try it one more time with someone and then stumble around the outfield like Willie Mays at the end?
Yeah,
you just you hear everything. I can't imagine he'd want to go in the AFC where you have Allen and Mahomes. You have all the young guys in Burrow.
Yeah, all
I don't know. Do you have a thought on if he'll stay or if he'll go?
Don't know. I mean, very difficult read. I don't even think Jim Gray knows.
Well, yeah,
How do you pick a patsy like Jim Gray to host your show? I mean, come on. Does that not discredit his chance of being a good broadcaster? I don't
somebody else cool is on there. Michael
know.
Strahan. Who else is-
Fitzgerald, Larry Fitzgerald, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
This
Larry
week.
Fitzgerald. So.
I like Larry. I mean, he's
Yeah,
got
he's
a good
fine.
personality and obviously was a tremendous talent and seemed like he did a lot of things on the right side of what you would want from your, quasi role model athlete. But no, I don't know. I mean, look, he wasn't terrible this year. That's the thing. And yet every time I saw him, he was terrible. But if you look the stats up, I mean, the guy, actually had a very good season by any standard. And yet, every time I watched Tampa Bay, it was like, wow, this guy's a shot fighter. I don't think he didn't look like he was absolutely finished. So maybe what Las Vegas Raiders I would think would be the ultimate destination for Brady. No, we got Leslie froze on us here.
Froze.
She
Well,
looks
that's
great, but froze solid.
it-
Perhaps it was my mesmerizing dissertation on the future of Tom Brady. All right, see if we can kind of correct that because this was
yeah, it was her
going
internet.
well, and I can't believe how stunningly beautiful Leslie Visser looks. Not that she's not always that way. There you are.
I'm
You,
sorry.
what was
Yeah,
it? My mesmerizing dissertation on Tom Brady's
You guys have
future?
great timing.
Yeah,
yeah.
that just you froze on it. You
I'm
froze on
sorry. I was starting to tell you that I think that the 49ers and the Eagles are mirrors of each other. And the
Mm.
only difference, I think, will be that the defensive line puts pressure on Purdy. And that, Hertz has just a little more experience.
Yeah.
But I think that those two teams are pretty close.
You obviously are accustomed to living on the edge in spite of your dignified appearance and professional career. It just seems like Purdy for the last couple of games I've watched him is kind of dangling on the ledge there a little bit, right? I mean, he's like one of the Walendas where all of a sudden you realize wind is a four-letter word, right? And you're in the middle of the Snake Canyon or whatever on a high wire, and it just seems like one of those plays is going to backfire this time, and
I
and,
don't
and
know.
and it's going to be significant. Where he's come close a few times, even though he hasn't made the big bozo play, but. I mean, he's gotten away with murder with the hands of stone that was exhibited by the Dallas Cowboy defensive backs.
I don't, he reminds me of Bjorn Borg. He
Oh
just
yeah,
goes
wow.
there, he just does it, and then he wins. And he's got great weapons around him. I don't know. I see these two games as being really close. The other one, it's just you just can't bet against Joe Burrow.
That-
No,
Where
and people aren't. Yeah, they've made them the favorites in this game.
Are
Th-
they?
th-
Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
on Mahomes' ankle? Is that
the injury. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mahomes, but Mahomes, see, I would be playing this just the opposite. I don't know about you, but this defies all of the secrecy that's always involved in NFL football, as if it was, Norman Schwarzkopf, was analyzing the data there. When you have Mahomes with a cane coming to practice, maybe even a wheelchair, and he's lobbing a few. And then you got Chad Henne holding press conferences. Even if
that
he was fine, wouldn't you like
right?
at least make it look like he had no chance to play in this game?
Isn't Chad Henne? I mean, you think I thought this has to be his son, right? This
That's
can't
what I thought.
That's
Exactly.
exactly what Devo said.
Yeah.
isn't he from the same hometown as Taylor Swift? Is that right?
Oh,
It
good.
could be. I mean,
I
she
think
would certainly be the more popular figure there, I would imagine. Over
it's like,
check down Chad, who we hated when he was here. I mean, for no reason, we just hated this guy.
do you know that Gurgles is from the same hometown as Amanda Seyfried? Of course, you don't know who she is. She's a
She's
great
great.
actress.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
great.
Do you
Yeah.
think Gurgles knows her?
Doubtful.
No,
But long shot Larry is also from his hometown, and
Scott Larry.
he's very familiar with him.
Oh my God. Don't give me a hand up.
And his body of work, which no doubt will get to Hall of Fame stature somewhere. All right, so what do you think? I mean, it's a great story either way. I mean, in both games, I feel, and I really do believe that both games are a toss up. I don't really have any big rooting interest either way. All teams are likable enough. If you were choosing which sideline to be on to report on,
Oh yeah, what's the best stories?
what story would you want to follow here?
I'm really interested in Purdy being Mr. Irrelevant, which is just so
Yep.
Yeah.
ridiculous. Why should you pay everybody Mahomes money when somebody like Purdy? And I wonder that if now coaches, they always overthink it on draft day. Well, who's the Purdy who's out there? But I think Joe Burrow will find one of those receivers because I think Kansas City, if they have a tiny weakness, excuse me, it's their defensive backs.
Yeah.
But I think it would be, God, yeah, any of those sidelines would be a blast to be on. I'll tell you. I'll tell you one thing I just did. I'd like to know your thoughts on this. Have you guys seen the promos for 80 for Brady?
Yes,
Yes.
They're
Are you in
everywhere.
that? Wow.
Okay, 3
You
days
don't
ago,
qualify age-wise, I mean, to be in that.
I was interviewing people older than me. Can you guys?
There you
Ah.
go. Look at you. Young
3
lady.
days ago, I interviewed the 4 women,
That's
and
amazing.
it
Oh, yeah?
was
Nice.
I mean,
right.
that's a group. I mean, that group's ridiculous.
Oh my God, they're all. And guess how old Rita Moreno is?
She's the oldest one, right? That's what I thought because she looks.
83.
91.
I was gonna say,
Wow.
yeah, she's older. Yeah, she's older.
83 would have been a shocker.
And
Yeah.
She's still
the
She's
great
still good, though, too. I mean, she's
Still
very coherent and lively and vibrant and all of that. That's fantastic. Yeah,
But-
very inspirational. So as I'm laying down in bed moaning, that I'm in pain in every,
she's 20
body
years.
part and limb, maybe I should think about Rita Moreno. What's that thing going to be about? I mean, it looks like something that you probably have to watch, right? But what's the whole idea behind it?
It's a sweet story. The 4 older women, they decide as their last gasp, they're going to go to see Brady. It's the game against Atlanta. That's the one.
Oh, the Super Bowl. Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
By the way,
wow.
don't you think? Well, I don't. For you guys, what's your greatest Super Bowl? Because I think that.
Well, you know mine.
Be,
Yeah.
oh, please, don't name it.
100%. You know, Defoe. He hasn't left 1970.
Super Bowl III, man. We all knew it. We all knew the mighty Colts were going down. Very cocky bunch of Jet fans back then. And Joe Willie really stole the show. I mean, people debate whether he's a Hall of Famer. What do you think about that? I don't mean to get into a silly
What
sports
do I
debate.
think about that? I think nobody talks about the New York Jets.
Super Bowl III revolutionized the game. I mean, it changed everything. Everybody's perspective. The AFL was garbage before that. Garbage.
It was. When I first saw the Patriots, I saw them in Fenway Park on a Friday night because that vagabond AFL, they played at Harvard and BU and BC. So you're right, it did change.
And the AFL was fun. They embraced fun. They were throwing a ball. They were chucking it down the field. Yeah, it wasn't Horning and Taylor 3 yards in a cloud of dust and a little bit of a sweep.
And Babe Pirelli, thank you.
No, it was very exciting, Paul. I mean, and the Patriots, they had the great helmet, man, with the Patriot guy on there. I always liked that helmet and logo, way better than anything that they modernized since then. All right, so many things on it. Did you ever get a close enough glimpse at that plate chart of Andy Reid's to decipher whether or not it was a Chinese restaurant menu?
You're the Chinese.
No, but actually, one of my friends is Eric Stone Street from Modern Family.
Oh, really? Oh, he's great.
Yes, he's fabulous. And he moved back to Kansas City because he's such a Reid fan. He looks like Andy Reid dresses up. And he moved back there just because they're so much fun to watch. So I think Andy Reid, he spoke at Madden's funeral when I was privileged to be one of the speakers. And he said that John always taught him the whole key to life is always act 12 years old.
Which they do a good job of. Although Andy Reid seems far more serious. I guess Madden was a very serious guy when he was on the coaching sidelines. All right. You're going to countries now and traveling to places that we can't even pronounce. All right. But what were you interviewing Triple G or something? Where was Uzbekistan?
No,
and why were you there?
Uzbekistan.
I got invited by. Thanks for asking. I got invited by the State Department to go to Uzbekistan.
Which State Department? Ours?
Our State Department.
Yeah, our State Department.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, I'll tell you something.
I get a letter from the State Department. I'm going to Mexico City. I'm telling you right away. No questions asked.
Yeah,
so I don't even open the letter.
They invited me to speak to female athletes, journalists, and entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you guys, it was really an eye opener. Do you know they're one of only 2 double landlocked countries in the world, which means the country next to them is landlocked, but the one next to that is open to the sea or the ocean. So their travel is terrible. Guess how much this might seem like a lot to you, Louie, and to you, Defoe. Yeah. Guess how much the average household income is yearly in Uzbekistan?
$400.
40,000.
Not bad. Well, somewhere between $1,200.
1,200. Okay, I
Oh,
was closer. Yeah.
For a former Soviet republic, all the ones around them are the stands.
What can
The
you do with the 1,200? I mean, obviously, you're not going to the track with that.
They don't even have
Oh,
freedom of
does
the
it buy you
press.
enough to live? I mean,
Absolutely
It
press.
buys you some of those. They were the Silk Road, remember the ancient Silk Road? So it
yeah.
can buy you some of those like Moroccan slippers.
I used to wear those when I was working at the Dharma Graham restaurant.
And when you
Very
had
attractive in yellow pointy shoes. Yeah, no, those things. And God forbid there was something spilled in the kitchen floor, which the Mexican cooks and they were very, very famous for doing that on purpose, as the guys they didn't like came in to get their orders.
but
Whoosh,
I have to tell you something that
banana peel.
no one else
Yeah.
is gonna hear this, right? Okay, this is my trip to Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
You fly 13 hours to Istanbul,
Yeah.
7-hour
Oh,
layover
nice in Istanbul.
Istanbul. Hard to believe, there's only one flight to Tashkent a day. So you spend
There you
3
go.
days
And what is that on? Is that on a bird of some sort? I mean,
on a camel. So you get there. But anyway, the State Department sends you a stipend, right, for the whole thing.
yeah.
Okay, everybody in the State Department except the ambassadors go coach. Well, was I going to go coach to
No.
Tashkent? No.
No,
So
wait,
that
that's
took,
not right.
that took up another 10,000 of the
Oh,
stipend.
Whoa.
Yeah.
oh
Oh, yeah.
no.
Then
Wow.
they say, "Oh, we have lots of little nice Uzbek B&Bs." Was I going to stay
No.
on
That an Uzbek
oh,
B&B. Yeah, what is that? Like a
a mud
thatched hut? Yeah.
So then they had one like businessman's Hyatt.
Yeah.
So I stayed in that, which charged American money. So I went to Uzbekistan for 9 days and made about $100.
Yeah, basically.
Only
What
me.
did you find there, man? I mean, what
How
did you
was
eat?
it?
Was
Yeah,
it
how
Anthony
was it?
Bourdain
Like,
time? What
Um,
were
I'm
you doing?
on a serious note, it's historically rich, economically poor. The
mm,
U.S. State Department, they sponsor self-defense classes because
right.
domestic abuse is a huge problem there, and it's considered a family matter. So no one takes care of the women, and they have no freedom of the press. So, but they get bloggers, and they all want to come to the United States. For as messy as democracy is, people want to come here.
Now, did they recognize you as the international celebrity that you are?
Oh,
Did they?
no,
No,
they don't speak English because they were a Soviet
that
republic.
helps if you're giving a speech. I would imagine.
But I had an interpreter the entire
Oh,
time,
okay.
and
Wow.
only this would happen to me. My new best friend, Farouz, he's a freak for Tom Brady and blames it on Giselle. This is the conversation
Well,
I
he's onto something
I
there. Obviously,
when
a
I
sharp guy.
know when I land in Uzbekistan.
Come
But
on, man. Giselle's already connected with this guy that just happened to be her personal trainer.
you
I mean,
don't
now what are we talking about here? Roger
are you
Clemens all over again?
are you getting that from Jim Sarney? Is that who
Yes.
told you that?
Probably Sonic.
Sony is,
Probably
very
Sonic.
cynical about this whole thing. Yeah,
One of my sports editors in college.
I think
Brady.
classic is never.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. All right, so how did you get out of there? I mean,
Um,
was it dicey at all, or was there a chance that, Leslie, we're going to have to, keep you around here for a couple of more days while we check out certain indiscretions in your passport, Miss Santos?
well, I did have, I have sinusitis, so I had a lot of medication. So I thought, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God, is this going to be Brittany Griner?
Exactly.
You're in a
Four
That's all we need.
pounds.
Uzbekistan penal colony.
Leslie
Nice. That
Visser.
must be a great position
I
to be
hope
in.
you come get me, wouldn't you, Defo? You come get
Oh,
me.
I definitely, yeah.
We
But
would
who would
def-
know that you were there, right? I mean, takes 11 years probably to get a
Leslie would
communication on
definitely be known that she
How
was
about
there.
this? This is something for you guys to follow. They
here. Yeah.
have a gymnast, Oksana Chusovitina. I'm sure you're familiar with her.
Oh,
That's
You're
yeah.
not, you're not going to believe this. This is hope for all of us. She
They
is
call her the twos. The twos.
she
Like
she is
Batuza.
going for her ninth Olympics in
Wow.
Paris. She's
Really?
a gymnast.
But isn't
she-
she the only representative on the team? Like she's the only one that
How old is she?
tried out?
What, you had to ask that? What?
Yeah.
She's going to be 50.
50
Oh, yeah.
years old and still does
Yeah,
gymnastics?
Doing gymnastics.
She
Wow.
does vault. She does the vault.
Holy
You
Olga Corbett. My God. That's
can do more.
impossible.
That's
You can
amazing.
do more with your walk of life.
I know.
All
Exactly.
right. Excellent. All right. Leslie, always a pleasure. I mean, and that sounds great. Now, any other adventures of this nature on the horizon, or you're just going back to conventional stuff?
No, I just did the story with the 4 women
That
who
Yeah.
airs February 7th on
is
CBS Sports Network.
February 7th on CBS. Thank you for that. So they were, I did ask because, I am an awarded, a renowned journalist. I
Yes.
did ask Sally Field. Gronk suggested that Brady date Sally Field. So I did ask her,
She
how
does.
that was going.
Yeah.
She said that she heard that he's taking up pickleball. Do you guys know this?
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
he's into it.
so she's, that's right up our alley, right? So
Yes, pickleball. That's what's next.
she and Tomlin are pickleball.
I mean, being an old geezer getting smacked in the face with a pickleball racket by your partner and then, putting up your bloody lips on Facebook, if that's the athletic future, then I
You're
may
going to
as well
be
just take that
behind.
cyanide cap now. Yeah, that would be it. Hey, you'll be happy to know there's help for us all, Lesley, including Luby and me. You seen this ad? It's airing like 1,000 times, it seems like, during the Australian Open for the phone line psychiatry that you can get, where you can dial up a shrink.
I
So
love
I'm thinking maybe that works. I'm going to give that a shot.
Oh my God.
You
Psychiatry, it's called. Every other ad now. I mean, it's either the pillow guy telling
or,
you to get a good night's
or
sleep or somebody.
Ozempic, which, by
Yeah,
the way, for you guys, all the Hollywood actresses are taking Ozempic. It's
yeah.
supposed to be for diabetes, but it's the new weight loss.
It's kind of like when Muhammad Ali took that thyroid medication, got down to 224, and became the favorite over Larry Holmes.
And still,
It was like, what the hell?
oh my
Leslie, we
God,
love you.
I'm so
And
off the rails. I love you guys. Talk
thanks for
soon.
joining us. Yeah.
Bye.